Hi, I'm Kathy, and I love to be selling. Come on in, sellers. I am so excited because today I'm streaming to you live from eBay Open, and I'm at the Mandalay Bay, Las Vegas, just for you. If you don't know, eBay Open is eBay's annual mega event, and it is for sellers all across the United States and the world. I've actually met sellers from all over the place. Also, hundreds of eBay staff and eBay senior executives come in. There's main stage presentations where we get to hear from Devin Wenig, Bob Cubbins, and other senior staff. There's also great workshops, and there's lots and lots of time to network with sponsors and your fellow sellers. Now, what I've done is that sellers have come to me with various questions that they have about eBay that are not able to attend. So what I've done is that I have grabbed a couple of staffers, and this is Josh Brunner. And what we're going to talk about are some tips for you. And with Josh, I'm going to talk about a tip that helps you to get sales, because sellers love to hear all about getting sales. Also, because this is a stream, if you have questions, and the stream's going out in several places, be sure to post them below. If we're not able to get to your questions during the broadcast, I will go back and I'll look at them and I'll make sure that we get answers for you. But first I want to introduce Josh, and I want him to tell us about what private offer is, because not everybody knows about it, and it is an awesome way to score sales. So Josh, what is private offer?
So I'm super, excited to be able to share. The private offer allows you, the seller, to sell anything for any price to anyone through member-to-member messages. You may not know that. You can sell things through private offer that you don't have listed on eBay. You can sell things for higher than what you have the product listed for. You can sell it for lower, and you control the offer price. As opposed to best offer, where the buyer controls the offer, private offer allows the seller to control the offer to the buyer.
And how does that work? How do I give a potential buyer a private offer?
Okay, so anytime a buyer messages a seller pre-transaction through messages, the seller will see two buttons that show up at the bottom of their response. One says reply, and one says reply with offer. That reply with offer button is essentially the method or the mechanism that you would use to access the functionality of private offer. So when you clicked that button, reply with offer, it pulls up a little box that shows the price of the item, and then it tells you, it allows you to adjust the price depending upon the buyer's request. So there are situations where the buyer may say, hey, is this the best price you can sell it for? Or they may say, do you ship to Germany? Do you ship to me? Will this fit my vehicle? For instance, in car parts. Any question where the price might change, this is a way for you to be able to adjust that price on the fly without actually having to go back and change your listing specifically.
So the thing is that a buyer actually has to send me a question. I have to get a question from a buyer first. Then when I get that question, I'm going to see two tabs, reply or reply with offer. And I can click reply with offer, answer the question, whatever question the potential buyer's asking me, and give them an offer price, regardless of whether they have asked for a lower price or not. It's up to me. I mean, if they're asking me about shipping, or they're asking me about the color, or they're asking me about a measurement, or asking me if I ship to their country, I can answer that question, and then to incentivize that buyer to buy the item that they're asking the question about, I can knock off a few dollars and offer them a special price just for them. Question for you, Josh. That price that I send the potential buyer, how long is that price good for?
It's only good for 48 hours. So you are incenting that buyer to make a choice quickly. Whereas, they have an indefinite, unlimited amount of time if the listing is just live. If you're willing to give them a discount, now you're saying, hey, I'll give you this one-time discount, but you have to accept it in 48 hours, otherwise the deal expires. So what's awesome about this tool is that, an example, I work in car parts and accessories. The conversion rate we have within our category of a fixed price listing is about 2%. When you engage with a buyer and you answer their question and then you send them a private offer, the conversion rate jumps to 50%. So wow. 50% of the time, a buyer is going to accept your offer. So if you view your ability to, or your time spent answering customers' questions as kind of a time waste and just a necessary evil of being on eBay, you shouldn't view it that way. Your inherent ability, which is different than a lot of our competing marketplaces, this is a strategic advantage you have to be able to say, hey, I have an offer, it's good for 48 hours, and then 50% of the time they choose to buy. It's awesome. Like, there is no conversion rate that even gets close to this.
That's amazing. So what it tells me is that if I converse with my potential buyer and if I send them an offer, I have a 50% chance to get that sale. That is huge. Because I know for a lot of sellers, I'm sure you hear this too, Josh, summertime can get slow for sellers. You can see your sales dip a bit. This is a way where I can incentivize that shopper to buy with me. And what's great is they're coming to me. They're starting the conversation. And I wanted to make that clear that this back and forth through private offer is through eBay messages. So this is not through emails. You are not taking the potential buyer off of eBay. You are dialoguing with them through eBay messages, and you're sending them this offer. Now, one thing that Josh and I were talking about is there are some great best practices for sending the offer to the shopper so that you have a greater chance to get that 50% conversion rate. So Josh, what were some of your tips on that of how to phrase the offer so that it's going to really help to get that buyer to click and to buy the item?
So something that we all love about eBay is the ability for buyers and sellers to connect personally. And that's the reason eBay has thrived for over 20 years. So what you need to do is view every customer interaction as the ability for you to be able to sell that product and answer their question. They're not going to be able to get their questions answered on that product through any other marketplace because we have such a dedicated engagement between buyers and sellers. Something you should know about this tool is that reply with offer button, if your message needs to go a few threads deep, answering questions going back and forth, that button disappears. That does not mean that you can't use that feature. If you go 10 messages deep, you agree on a price of whatever it is, shipping to Germany or a discount for the product, you just need to go back to that first message that they sent you, then click reply with offer, and then you can send them that offer. So it's allowing you to send essentially a customized invoice to a buyer without ever advertising that you sold that item to that buyer for a lower price. No other buyer on eBay will ever find out how much you sold that product to that buyer for. So some people actually don't really enjoy putting best offer on their listings because they feel like they get a bunch of wishy-washy offers that are 20% of what the offer price was. Don't worry about that. If you just put a fixed price listing without best offer, anytime a buyer messages you, you know that they're interested. So now you can just respond and offer them a one-time discount, good for 48 hours, that they have to check out on, otherwise they'll lose it. So these are the things you say, hey, I normally don't discount this product, but I will for 48 hours if you'd like to buy it. It's 15% off. I'll do it just for you, and no one else will ever find out. So, you're driving them to make a purchase.
I think that's a great point, is when you get a question from a shopper, is to let them know this price is just for them. It is a special price for them, and let them know the clock is ticking. I'll typically say, the special price just for you, and it is only good for 48 hours. I find that really helps to drive the sale to get the click. Now, one thing I did want to mention, because you are sending an offer that is not the price, if you do have immediate payment required on your fixed price listing, when you send a private offer to your shopper, if they click to get that price, it is similar to best offer in that the immediate payment required will not trigger because they are not buying it for the price that's on the immediate payment. So if you do that and you don't get immediate payment, don't think that something has happened to your listing or to the payment or whatever. It's just going through a different process, which is they then will have a few days to pay for it. However, I find with the private offer, they are so excited about getting that price, and they've been told that it's a limited time offer, that very, very often they pay almost immediately. I would say, if not right that second, within an hour or two. But I did want to bring that up
Yeah.
because the immediate payment required is on a lot of people's fixed price listings. And with the private offer, that will come off.
And you know, they still use PayPal just like anything else. It's a normal checkout process. And so the other thing to know, because this tool has some glitches, some kind of weird quirks, one thing is that when they choose to check out, if you included a different item into that package, let's say you had like a dish set, but you only had one listed, but they asked, hey, do you have more of them? Rather than creating a new listing to include all of those items together, you can just increase the cost of that item to the buyer, and then they can check out. Then you would need to know, hey, when that buyer purchases, I need to send all 10 dishes rather than just 1 or 2. The listing won't change, so the title doesn't change, the handling time doesn't change. It shows as if they purchased, you know, essentially that one dish for 10 times the price as opposed to the price that you had it advertised for. So you as a seller, you kind of need to know, hey, when this person checked out, I need to ship all of these items because you can't adjust the custom label or the title. There are a few kind of caveats to that. But if you're the one responding to messages and fulfilling orders, this is a really great way for you to be able to drive more sales.
That's great. And Josh, I wanted you to talk about that because I don't think a lot of sellers know that. So that when I reply with offer, it's like they're asking, like for the one dish, do you have 5? Or they're asking, I have the doll, does it come with the case? Something like that. So I'm changing the price. I'm increasing the price because I'm adding the doll case. I'm adding more dishes or bowls. How does that work as far as what I need to say in the reply so that it's clear what they're getting because the listing doesn't change?
When you click reply with offer, there is a field called message to buyer. And in that field, you would want to line item anything that you're including in addition to the item that they're referring to. So if you're going to say shipping to Germany plus $20, doll $20. So you kind of line item that so that eBay is going to be able to tell, hey, I see that they included, you know, all of these items into that offer that they sent them. It's also captured within your member-to-member messages. So in order to protect yourself and to protect the buyer, just make sure that all of those messages and everything that you're including is captured within messages so that if there's ever a question that a customer service agent would need to get involved and figure out a return, it's not the smoothest process, and I totally get it, but it is a way for you to be able to drive more sales. And as long as it's captured, eBay is going to be able to protect you and protect the buyer.
What I love about that too is it's a way for smaller sellers to stand out because very often we're competing with very large sellers, and very large sellers for the most part have automated customer service responses. They've got some kind of bot in place or just the whole thing is automated. So they're not replying with a private offer. They are just saying, you know, we'll get back to you in 24 hours, you know, thank you for your question, that kind of thing. That for smaller sellers that are personally answering their customer service questions, or they have a team that's personally answering their customer service questions, it's another way for a smaller seller to stand out, or for a seller that's customizing their customer service to stand out, and again, to get more sales, particularly now in the summer months when things can really slow down.
And what I also just love about this feature is that it's allowing sellers to communicate with buyers and figure out what they need and sell it to them in the moment without eBay creating all of these different hoops that you need to jump through in order to sell an item. Don't go and create a brand new listing. Don't hope and cross your fingers that the buyer is going to add these 6 different items that you have for sale into a cart and then check out. Just do it for them. Say, hey, I can combine all of this for you. Here's the combined offer. If you check out right now, I'll ship everything tomorrow. You're making it easy for them and easy for you to be able to sell an item and just communicate and sell, and eBay isn't going to get in your way.
I think that's great. And the other thing I was thinking about when you're responding and giving people the private offers is that any seller can do this with a fixed price listing. You don't need to have an eBay store.
Nope.
This is something that is available to sellers of all levels, which is exciting because there are tools and there are things that are only available to a top-rated seller or to an eBay store owner. This is something you do not need an eBay store to access. That's correct, isn't it, Josh?
Yep, that's right. If you're using any sort of third-party platform in order to respond to your buyers, you won't see it because this functionality only exists through eBay messages, not through any other sort of message service.
And that's another way for the smaller sellers to stand out. The other thing I really like is sellers are always crunched for time, Josh. I'm sure you know that. I mean, sellers are always like, Kathy, you know, I need to get my listings up, I need to do social media, I need to product source, you know, how do I get everything done in the day? Because time is so precious. Here's another way, like Josh was saying, is normally, and you know this, sellers, is when somebody comes to me and says, you know, Kathy, do you have another dish, or do you have the doll carrier, or whatever? You go, yes, 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 and you know, you talk about it. You have to pull the listing down, then you set up a new listing. Oftentimes you're going to have to take new pictures because you got to show the doll with the doll carrier, or you got to take the plates and do the pile of 6 plates, and then create the listing for the shopper that's interested, put it up on eBay, and there is a chance that they're not going to buy it after asking for that special listing.
Went through all that work.
Right here, you've gone and spent what, 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes out of your day to create this listing. It may not always sell. Here with private offer, I can say, you know what I do, and I'll put them together, and this is the price that I'll do. You reply with offer, you say, I'm doing this just for you. It's good for 48 hours, and you just saved yourself 30 minutes, 45 minutes out of your day. And with what Josh is saying, you have a 50% chance that that offer you send your buyer will convert.
And let me even make it even easier for you. If you have the eBay app, through messages, you can take pictures of anything else you might be including within that offer. So you don't need to now you can actually capture the product that you're sending with pictures, but you can respond in the moment just on your phone. You can say, hey, you know, here's the picture of the item that I'm going to send you. Click, 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 send, response. It's all done on your phone, and it supports itself through the app. So again, we're not talking about going in between a desktop application and then your mobile application. Just do it all on your mobile device, and you will capture those pictures, will capture anything that you were talking with that buyer about.
That's a great tip. And I was going to say, if you haven't done it, is that whether you're on computer or if you're on the mobile app, and if you don't have the eBay mobile app, you should get it on your phone or your tablet because it's great. The reply with offer is available on the app. So there are things that are not on the app. We love the eBay app, but not everything's on the eBay app. Reply with offer is something that is on the eBay app besides the computer. And I didn't know about the pictures, but that's a great tip. I can go take the doll, put the carrier together, you know, shoot a picture with the phone, boom, and send it because of the picture availability that you have on the app with sending messages. I love that. That's great. Now, just quickly to go over, so I don't need an eBay store to send a private offer. Do I need to be a top-rated seller or above standard seller or any kind of customer service criteria to send it?
You don't need to be, but you should be working towards it.
Of course, we want to be a top-rated seller. So I don't need to be a top-rated seller. I don't need to have an eBay store. But for private offer, this does need to be a fixed price listing. Is that correct?
It doesn't work on auction style listings. It will work on a best offer listing, but if they were to send you a best offer through the best offer tool first, this functionality disappears. So some people don't act, like we were talking about best offer before. It will work with best offer if they just send you a regular message. But if it's a message through the best offer tool, it doesn't show up.
So my question to you then is really, Josh, with any question I get from any shopper, whether I'm answering through my phone or I'm answering through the computer, any question that I get on, can you ship tomorrow? You know, what color is this? Is it really, you know, a deep red or whatever? A measurement question, any kind of question on the item, I should always be replying, not reply, but reply with offer and send them an offer in addition to answering the question.
I do think it's actually a best practice to communicate with them and agree on a price of if the price is changing. If you're just offering them a discount, you can click the reply with offer button, but if it requires a little bit more back and forth in order to agree on a price, I think it's worth saying, hey, I'm going to send you an offer right now. Which you would just click reply on, right? I'm going to send you an offer right now for a discount on this product. You'll only have 48 hours to accept it. And then you can click reply with offer. I think it's worth communicating and the buyer understanding exactly what you're doing so they don't get this offer and they're confused. what's this offer? Why did they send this to me? I just asked a simple question, where can I get a styrofoam Statue of Liberty hat?
Right.
They want to know. So again, it's just a way for you to be able to communicate. You should encourage these opportunities to engage with your buyers because you have a 50% chance to sell them something if you can just get them engaged with you.
And I think it's a great point. For those of you who listen to me with my tips for social media, one of the reasons why sellers do social media is to engage with your buyer. That's why you're on Twitter, that's why you're on Facebook. It's what you're looking for is to create relationship with your buyers, because then they get to know you and what you're offering, and then they come and look at your listings on eBay. What this private offer does is you're getting engagement with your customer. You're getting relationship. You're getting a conversation started, which is going to help you to drive sales and convert sales. And literally it takes maybe 60 seconds, 90 seconds to reply.
Yeah, it's easy.
It's not, because again, for those of you who do social media, which I do, to set up, a week's worth of social media on your Facebook business page, or to set up a week's worth of Twitter, with your products and with social engagement, takes a lot more than 60 seconds, 90 seconds. Here's a way to engage with somebody who's looked at my listing, they're interested in my listing, they have a question about my listing. So this is somebody that's already found me on eBay, found my product, they're interested enough to send me a question, because some people, right? Some people will look and they'll never send you a question. Yeah. You don't even know that they looked at your listing. You'll see impressions perhaps, especially if you're running something like promoted listings. You'll see that you're getting impressions, which means you're getting views. But something like this with the private offer is you're getting that conversion. Mm-hmm. We all want to get our items seen. You want the impressions, you want the clicks, and what a click means is they've actually clicked on your listing and they looked at it. But really what we're after, what I hear from sellers all day yesterday at eBay Open, and I'm sure I'm going to hear it again today, is, Kathy, it's one, we want to get seen, right? And that's eBay search. I want to get seen. Then you want to get clicked. That's writing an optimized listing with good keywords, good pictures. But bottom line, love the impressions, love the clicks, but what I want is the sales. And that's what the private offer does for you.
We're going to trademark the phrase conversion from conversation. So
I think
just
that's
look
great.
for that in the future. It's going to be our new motto.
Thank you so much. I've only got a couple of minutes left, but Greg has just stopped by from Guaranteed Delivery. So we're going to do a couple of quick minutes with Greg.
Great.
And I want to thank you so much,
Hey,
Josh.
thanks, Kathy.
It's
I had
been
a great time.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Yeah, come on in. Yep, we got a hand mics. We're being very impromptu here. Great. So this is Greg from Guaranteed Delivery.
Hi.
And we only have a couple of minutes, so I want to get right to it. Is for people who don't know, if you have same or one business day handling, you're now opted into Guaranteed Delivery, which is eBay standing and saying, shopper, if you buy this item, you will get it in this amount of time. And an urban myth has popped up, which is why I asked Greg to stop by, where people are saying that eBay is not backing their promise on Guaranteed Delivery, that if the item shows up late for some reason, even if the seller has done everything correct, which is that I ship in the correct handling time, if it arrives late, that eBay is not backing up the promise. And I wanted Greg to refute that urban myth for us.
It is officially refuted. Thank you for bringing it up.
You're welcome.
So shall I give the details on that?
Yes, please.
Through the end of this year, well, let's reset on what the guarantee is within Guaranteed Delivery. So first, it is a Guaranteed Delivery date. It is a one specific date by which a buyer should expect to receive their item, which is great. The guarantee piece that stands behind that is if a buyer experiences a late delivery, they have recourse to make themselves feel better about that late delivery.
I know.
So they can claim a free return if the seller offers a return. They can claim a reimbursement of the ship cost if they paid an upgraded shipping option and they had to pay for additional shipping. They can claim that back. Or if shipping was free, and free is always best, of course, they can claim a $5 voucher. Through the end of 2018, eBay is covering all of those costs on behalf of sellers, whether the seller was at fault or not.
And just quickly, Greg, so if a buyer gets an item late and they want one of these things, how do they get it? Are they contacting eBay? Because usually what happens, I know for my buyers, is if something arrives later, if they have an issue with an item, they're clicking contact seller and they're getting a hold of me. So how do I then get them into this system so that eBay offers them the discount, eBay reimburses it, and that eBay backs it up, and I'm not messaging my buyer endlessly?
Absolutely. So we don't want to add burden of additional workload to our sellers. So the claim process is automatic. Or rather, it's self-serve for buyers, let me say that. So a buyer that has experienced late delivery, as soon as we know that that delivery is late based on delivery scans or lack thereof, the buyer can go into their My Purchases section of their site, of their account, go through to the purchase that was delivered late. On the right-hand side, there's a drop-down menu of actions that the buyer can then take. One of those options for a late delivery is late delivery. As soon as they select that option, they are taken through the claim flow and given the options of free returns, if offered, ship cost reimbursement, or the $5 coupon. So as a seller, if you do receive queries directly from buyers around a late guaranteed delivery, point them in the direction of their My Purchases page and have them find that option for themselves. Much quicker, much easier, no need for the seller to be involved because eBay is taking care of that whole process.
And quickly, Greg, because we only have a few minutes, how are the guarantees changing for 2019? Because that's where a lot of the urban myth has popped up, which is, oh, next year eBay's not going to be protecting us with guaranteed delivery and that kind of thing. So if you could address that, I'd appreciate it. Absolutely.
So what is really important for the guaranteed delivery promise to buyers is that the promise is accurate. So to answer your question, Kathy, as long as sellers have done what they are required to do, then they will continue to be protected. So,
and just quickly, the requirement is that you ship within your stated handling time. That's the requirement.
Correct. So if you have shipped within your stated handling time, as proven by tracking scans, the seller is 100% covered from that point on. The carrier may have an issue. A vehicle may get a flat. There may be a weather delay. Whatever the case may be, from that point, the seller is protected if they've handled on time.
That's fantastic. Now, what I wanted to talk to you just quickly, because Greg was telling me last night when we were having dinner together, is there's some really great changes that are going to be coming on the eBay platform to help accentuate guaranteed delivery, to help us sellers stand out in eBay search with guaranteed delivery. So that those of us that are having Sabre One Business Day handling, that have been opted into guaranteed delivery, that our items can stand out in search. So Greg, tell us about that.
Thank you for the question. It's exciting for us. So firstly, now guaranteed delivery items already stand out prominently. Buyers can use a search toggle to find only those listings that are guaranteed to be delivered within 3 days. And the listings are decorated differently. There's a green text that says guaranteed by with a singular delivery date. That's already in place. But now that we have the search functionality, we are looking at many ways of driving additional volume to those sellers doing the right things. For example, Get It By Holidays campaigns with banners and curated inventory into events pages. Get It By the Weekend, for example, for P&A sellers who know that their buyers care very much about receiving their auto parts by the weekend when they do work on their cars.
Are we going to see things like this for the holidays, as far as, you know, you'll get it by December 20th, or a promise that you'll have it by the holidays?
Absolutely. Yeah, that is really when guaranteed delivery. Well, we know that buyers care all the time, but they care most when there is that key single date that they need delivery by. So for sure by holidays. So
will we see any kind of special graphic or anything about guaranteed delivery once we're into the fourth quarter and really the big push for holiday shoppers?
Absolutely. So the listings already stand out, but we're adding a graphic to the listing decoration to help them stand out even more.
Oh, that's great.
So really attracting buyers' attention. More eyeballs equals more sales. We realize that, and we're planning to do more for our sellers who are in the program, doing all the right things in terms of handling time, tracking upload, et cetera, et cetera.
And for guaranteed delivery, Greg, do I need to be an eBay store owner, or do all sellers qualify if they have the correct handling time and meet the customer service requirements?
Yeah, so as long as you, as a seller, have on average 100 transactions per year, it's very low, you're above standard, and your late shipment rate is less than 3%, and your tracking upload is at 95% or better, You are likely already in the program. You just need to optimize your listings to have them show up to your buyers.
And we've got about 1 more minute, so I just want to quickly address, under the Performance tab in Seller Hub, there is a guaranteed delivery dashboard, which lets me know sometimes how many sales I've gotten through guaranteed delivery. Can I look for improvements in that dashboard so I'll absolutely know how many sales I'm getting through guaranteed delivery?
Yes. So the dashboard currently just shows your performance. So it shows your metric on your tracking upload and your on-time delivery metric for guaranteed delivery. But we realize that sellers need a bit more visibility. You want to understand, from a business point of view, how guaranteed delivery is making changes to your operation. Increase in listings, increase in sales, conversion numbers, all of that sort of stuff is in planning to be shown to sellers via Seller Hub as soon as we're able.
As soon as you're able. So perhaps we'll have it by 4th quarter? Maybe?
It's most definitely in the works, and it's a high priority. So I can't guarantee a date. These things tend to shift, but it is 100% a high priority.
Good, so we'll be looking for that. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us live from eBay Open. I'm Kathy, and I love to be selling. Bye-bye.